Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. It actually is warm this time, or kind of, not really. And I have my tripod. And why is that? Because I am in Retiro. I guess Madrid as a whole, but Retiro specifically, near to the place that I may well have have had my first Maxi Bon, my favourite ice cream. They don't sell the kind that I had here before, but they have all the best ones on that poster. Might have to swoop back later. But yeah, point is, actually I'm not sure, because it's been 6 years since I've been at this park. I used to come here all the time, we lived here. But yeah, I need to get my bearings. We entered from a different angle than usual. So I'm fairly certain that we actually, that it's not the exact location. Because the location with the Maxi One thing had a bunch of crowds all in one area with a bunch of street performers and such of different kinds, golden statues, musical acts, I think one point juggling. Kind of depends. But yeah, so I don't think it was this. It wasn't this street. That wasn't the place. I just needed a place to start so I can work my way there. But yeah, this is while here in Madrid, I thought, well, let's go to some of the two most nostalgic places. So next week I've got another nostalgic place in mind for Walking Wednesday, but for now I hear the music, so I shall follow it. Much like the rats and the children of Hamelin. Oh my. Anyways, in other news, it turns out that I forgot about this thing when I was going through arranging things to take with me, or just like cleaning up my room a bit before departing. Turns out I found this. It says Star Kid Studios. It's backwards, obviously, because of the latch-on version of the camera. Okay. Definitely this is looking more like it. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. I need to do, like, honestly, just a tour around this place. I have limited time because I'm meeting up with somebody at 5. But yeah, I had this whole idea for what to do whilst here that's sort of been slightly altered. But yeah, for now, just walking around, being able to show people the places that I used to come to all the time. Not really all the time. We were a bit far away in terms of the zone of it, but I mean the thing about Madrid is that you can go anywhere just using the metro, and you can pretty much find your way wherever. And especially if you're me, because that was one of my first. I hesitate to use the word hyper obsession, but it was one of my first obsessions as a child. It started off with the actual. The United States of America, memorizing stuff about them and where they were and all that stuff. And as soon as we moved here, it switched to metro stations, particularly the ones that we were on, like Line 4, memorizing that, memorizing Line 8, obsessing over particular metro stations and the mysteries behind them, a place I'd never actually properly been. This is the area. This is the one. I had my first Maxi Bon here. It was all over from that point. Actually, wait, there's another one over there. Were there always this many? I don't know. Because the thing is, I think I mentioned this before in one of the Galicia things. But there's this rivalry of ice cream franchises, particularly in Spain. I think also Portugal and the nearing areas, possibly Andorra, don't know, never been, contrary to the YouTuber stereotype. Told you they were street performers. Yeah, actually, you know what, it's that one. Oh wait, it's playing Bella Ciao. Isn't that fitting? Because I had a bunch of plays to talk about that we have gone to see this week. And that reminds me of El Gran Pietro, which is the one that we saw before, where they kind of they used this as a theme and then changed some of the lyrics and stuff. Nothing I appreciate. But yeah, we've gone to the theatre a couple of times since we've been here. To anyone who was in my Spanish class, we once again watched La Casa de Bernarda Alba, and it was different to the last time we saw it, because last time we saw it, it was in this very, very small theatre that could only seat 25 people, we counted. This one was in one of the big Madrid theatres, which, contrary to popular belief, do in fact exist. I do recall that Pika at one point said to me that the theatre scene, particularly in Madrid, had exploded since I had left, because obviously when I was here, you know, good like 12 years ago, it was when they were doing a bunch of cuts to art programs and stuff. It's definitely that one, by the way. Third time's the charm, I'm sure this time. So that they did a bunch of cuts to that because of the economic crisis that was going on at the time, and yeah, the theatre suffered the most because, you know, in times of economic struggle, it's always the arts that go first because they're, you know, considered to be, you know, non-essential, if you like. I'd argue, of course, that they are, but that's just me. Anyway, yeah. So there wasn't really that much, and in fact, the youth theatre I used to go to was actually a fair distance away. Then again, it was a recommendation, specifically from two people, one of whom was a former student there, so who we're also seeing in a few days. So I guess that might be why. But yeah, it's impressive to see. I mean, the one that we just saw after Bernarda Alba had a few profiles of the 3 actresses that were in the thing, and talk about like the different plays that they had starred in and etc., giving like a bit of their profiles. I'll come back to that one. Bernarda Alba first, because yeah, seeing that with a proper budget makes a huge difference. Because I mean, I'm not sure what is the best way to watch Bernarda Alba, because the idea is that this entire family is in mourning because the father has died. So the mother and the 5 daughters are going to be locked in the house for 8 years. There's a lot more. This is like heavily paraphrased, but most of the scenes take place only in one room, which changes colours only during the actual act breaks. And good grief, should I keep walking towards that because no one's going to hear me? This is part of the test as well, by the way, how noisy this park actually is. I wish I brought my selfie stick and I didn't leave it at home, because I definitely could use it right now. Oh, okay, this is new. That's Chucky over there. I guess holding a knife to somebody taking a photo. Oh, never mind. So someone's oh wow, that's gonna get this video demonetized maybe. That was a gun, a fake gun obviously, but pointing towards. What on earth is happening over there? I know it's bad for noise, but I have to know. I have to know what's happening. Again, this is what I talk about. Retiro is always something. Most of the time, of course, we were here just, you know, go to the play areas and such, but I mean, who even knows? Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, it's a very intimate play. This is too distracting, isn't it? This is not gonna work, is it? I'm trying to talk about 2 classical Spanish plays, and all people can hear is meme music in the background. I don't think I recognize this one. I don't know. And there's somebody else making noise further down. Oh, okay, no, I know what's happening now. Okay, we're going this way. So, earlier today, my dad sent a WhatsApp thing talking about this protest that was going on with it seems like they're putting restrictions on something to do with harvesting, possibly tractors, because a bunch of tractors are doing a protest march of sorts, a protest drive, if you will, apparently based on like restrictions that are being placed, and it seems like that is the source of the noise. It's not even from Retiro itself, but apparently that's part of their strategy, I guess, to get people interested in what they've got to say. Oh, they've got signs at the front and the back as well. I'm trying to get as close as I can so I can show you, then I'll turn the camera. And then we'll get back to talking about whatever it is I was saying before. Slim Shady? I like you never seen a blue tractor before. Like one just rolled past Retiro's door. I can't tell which one's making the noise. They're not agreeing on the song, are they? They try We Will Rock You and then they start another one. Like, what? Look at that, Retiro, there you go. Okay, so one of the signs there said, se busca mota para pagar el tractor, which I guess means, you know, looking for a girl to pay for the tractor or something. Kind of like I guess, a riff on dating profiles. Good lord, okay. They're missing a trick here. What's that one song that goes da 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 da? That one. They should be playing that one. Okay. Still going. Yep. You know, if this video gets a copyright claim because of the tractors, I'm not even going to dispute it. I'm just going to leave it. Who cares? Okay. Right. So, yeah, it seems like if the term like pay the tractor, I guess that means the restriction is on the price of the tractors themselves, or how much it costs to maintain them, I guess, because they already have them, or whatever. That's the explanation. So, Bernardo Alba. I think I was saying that... Oh, you know what? I'm going to go up here. Oh, there you go. The freaks, I guess. Oh, they didn't do that. Okay, never mind. Anyway. So, yeah, so the actual show, again, very restricted setting, on purpose. And it is mostly just in that one room over the course of several days, essentially. And yeah, so in one way, you could say that the low budget feeling of the 25-seater kind of matches the spirit a bit more, because it's because it actually feels that claustrophobic in a sense. That being said, you know, the rooms are supposed to be, you know, spick and span, super clean, described as very white. So, well, at least at first. Then it starts fading a bit. Then becomes sort of blue tinted or whatever. That's one thing I was missing from that. But I guess they couldn't paint the small theater. But they did have they deploy walls that made like a sterilized clinic in the version that we saw a few days ago. And then, of course, they took more artistic liberties, particularly in terms of how much nudity was shown, but also from one of the characters, the grandmother. Just like, I mean, she's supposed to be crazy, but it's like, I don't remember studying that one when we talked about that in Spanish. Don't remember that interpretation, no. And then also, well, this street's the quiet street now. Then also the idea they're trying to do like physical theatre, or kind of. If it were a Frantic Assembly performance, you'd think that they would do the physical theatre stuff and they lean more into it when there's musical sequences, but they barely touch those. And so I'm not really sure. I guess that was trying to make something different, and also set up the idea that it was one act rather than three. They had to change the setting a bit, so they had to keep the music to match, but they also didn't have anyone performing on the stage, just like close the curtain while everyone reset. So didn't exactly work in that way. However, the performances are much more over the top. I think it's kind of it shows that everyone's more of each other's throats, which I think might be an interpretation, but also the 25-seater one was like more mellow. Surprisingly, they made the titular character of Bernarda human or human resembling around the same time. Towards Act 3, she starts showing more of the humanity behind her rather than just the product of the repressive pre-Franco 1936 time period that it was written from. So I guess you can look at it from multiple angles and kind of decide yourself which one you think is the best interpretation, or the one that makes the most sense, or one that I guess would be the better one to experience. This other play, which I do have the leaflet for, is one we saw yesterday. This one here was La Fortaleza, which is a new play, but it was inspired by well, you can see it on here, I think. Oh no, it's still inverted, never mind. Yeah, it's inspired by El Castillo de Vindabridis by Calderón de la Barca, and that's one where there's this made up kingdom, I think it was called Dardania, was the king the king dies and is supposed to name the successor. It's not always the oldest child. It's whichever child the king deems, be it male or female. And so we have Princess Lindabridis and her brother Meridian, I'm not sure. You know, it goes like, oh yes, my kingdom shall be inherited by... bleh, you know, that kind of thing. So they decide to they have to figure out themselves. The brother says that he's not going to, you know, like rage war against his sister on account of being a woman. So she goes out. So he tells her to go out, find a husband, and he will fight him instead. And Lindabridis agrees to this, despite the fact she doesn't actually have to. Technically speaking, she has the right to rule based on the reasons that were given before. It's not like in Princess Diaries 2, for example, where they start to randomly enforce the rule, the princess must marry. We have never enforced that rule in however many years was said, or blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to put the leaflet away discreetly so I can keep walking and talking. But but she does it anyway. the interpretation is that, you know, she's still grieving, so she doesn't really want to, you know, oppose resistance in any way or etc. And this is mostly supposition of my own, or mostly stuff that's been synopsized, because the inspiration is sort of resembled more the structure of a university lecture on Linda Bridis rather than an adaptation of it. And it seems like it was a request from the actual theatre itself, and the director, shouldn't I put this leaflet away? Not the director, or maybe the director as well, the director and playwright, I think. Her name is Lucia Carballal. Yeah, she wrote that, and 3 actresses who were friends of us from the theatre brought the words to life, kind of playing that character, but the character of Lucia, but also themselves at times. They kind of broke out of it. It was very strange in that way. But it ended up being mostly, it seemed like the theatre had said, oh, well, we need to bring forth this idea to make it more relatable to a modern setting. By the way, I forgot to mention, this is all about Linda Bridis. What she does is she travels around the world in search for a husband in a flying castle. The play is called The Castle of Linda Bridis. The castle itself flies around, and she has some sort of adventure, apparently. And that's why I'm mostly disappointed by the direction that they took. Not the play itself was bad, it just wasn't what I was expecting and not what it seemed to be marketed as. The prologue came from this leaflet. So there was no description, I think, that was readily available. We didn't know it was going to be a hugely personal story, as seemingly under protest. It's the first actress said that, you know, it's like, oh, well, you know, we'll talk about my father because it's related to Linda Bridis. It's like, oh, you know, my father died however long ago it was, and I think it was like in the 90s. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to talk about him and how by today's standards he would be deemed as absent, but not at the time, and how there's more nuance to what was going on with him and his life as an architect and such. And I was like, okay, this seems like an interesting idea for a prologue, because I saw there were a bunch of other like listed actors, so I thought, okay, they're going to come on sometime after this. The people in the company that got their photos displayed, unlike in most other theatre programs that you would see where it's the, you know, this person playing this person, or these people. So that was a little bit different. That threw me off. But also I kind of thought, okay, so this is like a, you know, like a personal prologue, because you're doing this on the protest, and you're saying that, oh, we don't need this, because like the idea was like, we don't need the this excessive modernization, because it's kind of insulting to an audience to say that they're not capable of thinking about prior times or relating universal story themes like grief, the role of womanhood, and etc. To the modern setting, where they are still as relevant and relatable as they ever were. And I thought, well, okay, so you're gonna describe that, fine, and you're gonna relate it to under protest. You're gonna talk about your father for a little bit, and then you're gonna go into what was marketed as, which was modern dialogue based on Linda Bridis. That's not what happened. The monologue, it seemed, continued and continued and continued and continued until eventually that actress's turn was over, and then the next person came on and kept on continuing. At this point I thought, oh, this is the play. So I saw that, you know, there's 3 of them, and I thought, okay, we're going to get to those ones. I saw like the profiles of them. They occasionally broke character to make meta commentary on doing classical theatre in Spain, like for example how they ask you for like a neutral Castilian accent, the same way that you used to get asked all the time to do a standard English or received pronunciation accent when you're doing basically any aspect of British theatre for a while, until the 90s, where it started to kind of we started to branch away from that. But that stuff, of course, was from the perspective of seemingly the actress herself, rather than Lucía Carballal. And then suddenly, with no transition, going back into that character, we're talking about like the same father again. Unless Lucía Carballal has the Murcian accent, which I guess is possible, but debatable, because in the play itself it establishes that she lived in Madrid most of her life, where the neutral Castilian accent is mostly from. Not because they say, like, you know, the southern accent is the one that is demonized, but Madrid isn't in the south. So again, you kind of have to be like, well, I guess in a way, you know, they're not insulting us by having to explain that. You know, they don't ease it in, and that's the one aspect I think where they might be going from the idea of, okay, we're not going to overly try to spoon feed the audience. They can interpret this for themselves, much like what we said we were going to do with Linda Bridis. Linda Bridis herself only gets like a vague, you know, sometimes mentions, because the dad was an architect, talking about like building different castles, being able to see them, etc. The few like dialogue conversations take place between the first actress, who came back as the mother character later on in a traditional Spanish dress from the era, which also tricked me to think we're going to that story. Honestly, the impression I got was, you know, this is a great thing, but this is not what I came to see. That's what disappointed me from it. It wasn't so much that the play was bad or that it had nothing to say. It absolutely did. It was funny. It was emotional. It's just, imagine for all the YouTubers, you know, watching, or people, you know, consume YouTube content. It's essentially clickbait. You take like the idea from a thumbnail or the title of a video, and you eventually, you know, keep watching through it because you think, okay, eventually they're going to get to the topic that is talked about in the title. You know, say for example, you know, I walked down Retiro and witnessed the tractor revolution of 2024. You know, 2024 gone wrong, gone whatever. Yeah. But then imagine if I titled that video that, but you never saw the scene of the tractors and the music and such. You would feel cheated, even if you happen to enjoy me talking about Bernardo Alba and Linda Bridis and La Fortaleza and all that stuff. That's not what you were here for. It's kind of what I say on the Butter Bunch as well, where Bibi has recently, as of the past week, misinterpreted what I tend to say. I just got to mention my mum talking about the Retiro tractors. Like, I'm very much aware of those. Yeah, so Bibi has misinterpreted what I said about people clicking on Butter Bunch videos of our reactions for specific reasons. What she implied in the video where she talked about this is that, you know, I don't believe people are there for the reaction. They're there to see the original video. If that was the case, they just watched the original video. That argument for reactors does sort of hold true to some extent with some people, but that's not what I meant. I do believe people are there for the reaction, our reaction. But what I try to do when I rein in the conversation from BB or from Aiden or from Shorty when they're there, or even on Gacha Review, depending on what's happening, is because I'm aware that is not the topic that people clicked on the video for. They can, by all means, you know, we can go down rabbit holes sometimes, and that's somewhat entertaining, but to the average person clicking on those videos, particularly the new rise of Star Kid fans who want to see us talk about a thing that they intensely care about, that don't know the channel that well, and mostly still bring in newer people each time, going down rabbit holes about the MCU or FNAF or, you know, live action Netflix Avatar, whatever it might be, TMNT as well. Those things will get people to be disinterested. That's not what they were there for. They can be great conversations. They can be inspired commentary, but that's not what was advertised. And that's why I worry when people, might get bored with those videos and such. And that's why I try to bring it back to the topic. It felt the same as that play. So, despite how good it was, it still felt a little bit like, not like a betrayal, that's too harsh. It felt like I was misled. Yeah, that's what it was. I felt misled, and all I want to do now is see the original play. There's a time and a place, of course, for someone's own personal reflections and a monologue with very few people interacting with it, just going through the power of theatre itself, talking about someone's life history, these real events, the relatable. But sometimes you just want to see a princess fly across a world from a nation that doesn't exist in a flying castle. Is that too much to ask? So that's the theatre experiences that I have had as of recently. Of course, there's plenty more that has happened within this week, but I've got like 8 minutes of recording space left in which to tell them. And also, again, I've got an hour, but I do want to walk around Retiro a bit myself and just make notes of a few things for a possible project that I have in mind. So I will have to cut that short, but basically, I guess we've been on the metro for quite a long time, many times, and yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised by how much I'm able to remember from it, and the fact that my knowledge is still very accurate. It hasn't changed that much. They had news stations and such, but yeah, not too many, and most of the news stations were from lines I'd never actually been on before. Which, by the way, I was on line R for the first time, I think, or the second time. And at some point in the week, I'm going to travel around 11 and 10, which we've never had any reason to go on before. But hey, we're here to, this is the time where we actually are here to waste time. In situations like these. And that's just what I plan to do. So that's probably one eventually I don't know if I'm going to film that necessarily, because I want to do Walking Wednesday, another nostalgic place, another major park. But hey, you never know. If it turns out to be an exceptional area that I've just never explored before in detail, I may well decide to come back for a second time and keep looking at that area. That's one part of the south that I will definitely be sure to appreciate. As for everything else, we've been going around getting some of our favourite foods, doing a bunch of pre-recorded videos. Thanks, by the way, for people supporting the pre-recorded videos. I'm not always around to watch the streams themselves, or the premieres, but I appreciate the ones who still stick around and still watch for that factor as well, because I know that you're there partly for the interaction with me as a streamer. I'm not sure if the internet in the house can support streaming. I haven't tried yet. Maybe I will at some point, but yeah, for now that all remains to be seen. There's always something going on each day. It is just a case of going around a couple of second-hand bookstores and getting stuff for approximately 10 euros, and wondering how we're going to take all of the things that we found back home with us, including the second edition of the Incredible Hulk book that I actually got when I used to live here, and I didn't know they were still printing them. It's amazing. I thought, like, we haven't been to so many of the areas like we used to like live particularly. We haven't like swooped around back there just yet. But I remember a lot of the time when we used to visit much more frequently that there would be constant changes. To be perfectly honest, Madrid doesn't actually feel that different to when I was last here, which again was like one visit in 2018. But it's amazing like how you can visit every year and see like the subtle differences to the place that you grew up in, and then suddenly you leave for some time, and then you come back and you think, wow, it's just the same. I mean, for the most part, anyway. Maybe I'll feel different once I actually swoop around that area. We'll see. That's another thing we have to do. We haven't met up with anyone just yet. Actually, my dad has, so that's why I'm going to be leaving after this. But meeting up with somebody who was workmates of one of his workmates. And then tomorrow I'm meeting up with my usual squad, and a bunch of parents from an old WhatsApp group have sent out a mass invite based on the fact that we're all here now. We didn't give them much warning, but we are trying to see other people as well. Because that's obviously more important than just going by and just exploring either recharted or uncharted territories. Because yeah, it's a big city. We lived here for 4.5 years and we didn't see all of it because we never actually explored entirely. But yeah, here we are now, and with no plans and not no plans, but no super fixed commitments, dare I say, until we leave, and trying to make the most of it. So that's what I have been up to, and that's why I have been very distant. So thank you once again for people who have been supporting the other stuff. You make sure that this is still possible. So it very much is appreciated. Thank you also to people supporting the Butter Bunch too, even though I wasn't on that last stream because I was flying the next day, and that's why that whole reaction thing happened without me. Still enjoy the Star Kid stuff, as I do, obviously, and you've actually managed to get us to reach 50,000 views on that channel, and that is always great to see. Just a random notification that says, "Hey, you reached 50,000 views." Like, oh, so we did. There you have it. So glad to see that those gears are still rolling. Even if the main channel is in a little bit of a dire situation, it's nice to see that still continuing. And don't worry, those gears are going to keep turning, and make sure it's not. I'm not going down without a fight, so to speak. But then again, I'm going to enjoy this while I can, and swoop back round and take a better look at those of the tractor revolution of 2024. So please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters, and subscribe to us already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.